pave the way. Talking tweets and hashtags too. How to make your brand feel new. It's the surge.
Good morning, everyone. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo.
The verge from real estate to viral trends. Your online game, they'll help it mend.
Instagram was fast today.
Good morning, Regulatus Real Estate. Thanks for joining us over on the gram. We've got Fly over on the gram too. It is Tuesday. I'm Mo Regalato. Over there is Miss Fly Jamerson. We are here to bring you everything social media, as well as talk about other stuff happening in commercial real estate. Got to mention that we have the CREI influential list. The influential women's list has come out. I have not received my badge or my stuff yet.
I know that. Yeah, I know. Well, and part of the reason was that those are sent out individually, like instead of just being like, here's because if you blast on a BCC, you might not make it in the inbox. You know what I'm saying? So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. So I'm waiting. I made the list. Fly made the list. Actually, all the women who were nominated made the list. Because yes.
Well, anyway, if you go check it out, and it is of course in celebration of women. Great, love them, but on Sunday it was International Women's Day. Lots of actually saw funnily enough lots of good sort of thematic related content, because a couple weeks ago we had that episode where we were talking about don't just post on a holiday because you can, right? And we all learned about your opinions about Labor Day. But so yeah, and Carmen Austin, who actually is in Baton Rouge, when we don't actually catch up enough, but Carmen Austin it was the curator of the list. So go check it out, CREISummit.com. And you'll also see there's a cool new way that you can interact with the list. That's kind of like a grid and a repository of all the list makers that have been featured over the last 5 years. Pretty cool. So check it out. Congrats to all. Thank you for being women and influential. I haven't had enough coffee yet. Sorry. It's hot today.
It's Tuesday morning. So, I mean, come on. Like, give us a break. You asked me who hurt me yesterday. Because I was popping off in tweets. And it was just one of those mornings where it's just like, how you going to set out marketing assets in a freaking PowerPoint? In a PowerPoint. Okay? Like, we have a plethora of options, and you send out marketing assets in a PowerPoint. Like, stab me in the eye, put a fork in me. I just looked at that and I was like, yeah, I'm not touching it. Not touching it.
I have a theory that, 100%. Oh my gosh, 100%. Yes, that is aggravating. George. And then I think about, and then every time I get upset about something like that, I'm always just like, oh, I got to meet people where they are. But I do think it's interesting because to send out assets like that, I think to myself, like, how are most people generating their assets? Like, how are most people building their marketing assets? And I actually knew a founder who did all of their graphic design work directly in PowerPoint. So I'm not saying I approve. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm just saying, like, it is interesting to me.
It's common, right? It is very, very common, but it is very frustrating when I work off of Apple products. I do not use Office. I do not use any of that. So it's just whenever one of those things comes by, I'm like, really? We couldn't put it in Adobe. You couldn't put it in Canva and give everybody the link so they could just adjust it easily, right?
They
Anywho,
may actually not have been able to. That's the thing. That's the thing. Also, I don't know if this is breaking or not, but I did just see this morning in the scrolly feed that Microsoft is now integrating Anthropic models into Copilot.
yes. So that happened. And then there was also another AI integration that was happening with another big company. And I can't remember who it was.
That's
also
what the episode is about.
also saw that we are actually talking about in real life, like events and stuff like that.
Just get it out of the way, right?
But I also saw that one of the things that I was reading over the weekend is that ChatGPT is now, at least this person was claiming, that the coding in ChatGPT is more powerful than Claude. So it's like now who can code the fastest and who can come up with, with the fastest workarounds, I guess, or the fastest way to be a helpful tool. So I think that's going to be interesting as we go throughout the weeks, because it's changing so fast all the time with AI. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. Or will there be another one? I think it was Manus is also integrating with what the heck? He can text me and let me know. Manus is integrating with some other operating system too. So it's crazy. It's crazy everything that's happening. Right. Today we are actually with purpose. We have a purpose to talk about.
We always do.
Really interesting stats. And it's something that we've all known about, right? That showing up in real life is far more important than showing up online, even though we went through, 5 years, 6 years ago of everybody showing up online because that's the only way we could. Your IRL, your in real life events are really popping off, and they seem to be getting bigger and better. And so Fly she actually had some numbers.
Some numbers. And I think to preface all of this, it's not a surprise to us. It's not a surprise to me to see that there is attention being paid. There is our resources being funneled into. There is money being dumped on IRL events. What does IRL mean? In real life, baby. And in the age of artificial intelligence and all this increased technology, like, what is your only moat? The fact that you're a human and have relationships with other humans, and only you can do that until we've got, I don't know, what's the one Robin Williams movie where he's
iRobot?
There's so many, but there's one where he's a robot, Bicentennial Man. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
iRobot was Will Smith, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, okay.
Sorry.
I did write a series of essays in graduate school about cyborgs and robots, but that's not what the show's about either. Anyway, so you want to know what I love? Because we always talk about how like commercial real estate social media is behind everyone. This is something where I'm like, you want to know what? Commercial real estate is so far ahead. Because we have, even though we've spent a lot of time cultivating online presences, relationships, conversations, etc., all the stuff that we talk about is a part of a greater marketing funnel. And I think people are realizing, I need to nurture this one a little bit. So much so that you and I have been seeing tweets about how venture capital firms and AI companies are like literally dumping all of their money on not only the events themselves, but also specialized roles within their staff to be events people. So I pulled some numbers. Okay, let me see. Got them up here. I'm not fancy enough to actually pull up the tweet.
Heather Lovelace is in the house. Hi, beautiful. Please. Oh, also Robin Hendricks is also here. And she just said, best way to build your network is to connect with those on the list. Robin, Thank you. Yes, 100%. Absolutely. 100%. I actually met Robin. I don't even know if Robin and I had connected on LinkedIn, but we met at CREI Summit as part of the marketing. Like we joined in the little marketing thing. And that's actually how I met Robin and talked to her and got to connect with her. And that was at CREI Summit in Atlanta. No? Orlando?
Was that really the first time?
Orlando. Sorry. It was in Orlando.
Because I was going to say that's the first time I met you.
was an early
And I remember you like pushed me into doing a camera, like you literally pushed my body into doing a camera interview that never
Did I
aired.
really?
Yeah, and it never aired, which is probably for the better. I seem to keep choking at those. Okay, so over $750 million has gone into really big IRL focused startups specifically. So that number is actually just about companies, just whole on companies that they are now doing like event planning services. There's like 4 different apps. I'm not even like going to get into it, but does it like just like different platforms in terms of like how people are actually like scheduling the events, finding the events. Like we used to just have like meetups.com. That's not the only one anymore. People are creating specialized platforms to create connections that are based on like industry, location, like shared interests, all that kind of stuff. So just that much money is being invested in the platforms for people to find events. We've also got big VC firms that are funding the AI companies. So not just the AI companies themselves, but the firms that are funneling money. Oh my goodness, funneling money into these guys. Like they're backing the tools and the events that the people are building them are going to at the same time. And like to me, and to like this is the commentary in the discourse right now, is that the more life goes digital, the more exclusive, the more premium that these in-person events are going to be. And so we've got, I mean, and the events, like the event apps are seeing user growth, like increases in 400%. I mean, there's just so many numbers here. Some of these apps, you know, they're growing by millions of people, you know, in a very short amount of time, in the same way that the AI boom is like growing in a big way in a really short amount of time. And then the wildest stat of all of this, I'm just like, there's a whole thing here, but I want to focus on what it means for CRE is, again, they're like Anthropic, who we talk about all the time, hired an events lead at, you know, in a 6-figure salary starting at like 250K. And it's almost the same thing as like OpenAI hiring a head of storytelling for the same amount, right? You have everything that the AI companies seem to be threatening and cannibalizing in many ways. They're putting big money behind that because they realize that the people and the stories that they can tell and the experiences that they can bring one another are premium choice cut meats.
Right. Well, if you get the people there that are, it goes back to, in radio, we call them street teams. We call them brand ambassadors, right? You get all of these people together that freaking love your product. They love what you stand for. They want to talk about you for free. It's what we now call user generated content, UGC, on social media. But you get these people that are raving fans and they will ride at dawn for you, right? So if you're creating this community outside of the actual community of whatever the purpose it is or the platform, you are going to have an audience that will eat up anything that you feed them. It can be a double-edged sword depending on if somebody in your company screws up. But for the most part, having these raving fans is incredible. And we were reading about, this was on X. There is, I think it's an offshoot of Claude or OpenClaw, where there are meetups happening in cities where 300 people are showing up so they can learn how to create Claude bots, right?
Claude just started an ambassador program.
Right. And so like they have like this thing where they have all these people showing up that just want to learn. But that's huge. When you, as a company, when you open the doors that way and invite people in, it gives them a sense of ownership. Think back in the day of like Nike, right? Nike had, and I'm sure they still do, they had such a huge raving fan base of people who were just like Nike all the way, right? Like that was exactly it. And when I was a merchandiser for them, learned a lot about the company. And I know there's so many weird things,
Well,
right?
you've got to write the book. Okay. Because
So many
okay,
weird
I'm
things.
sorry. When you were a merchandiser for Nike, okay, I've calibrated. Please continue. Most interesting woman in real estate.
No. So when I was a merchandiser for them, like we learned, one of the fascinating things to me is that they made 100% sure that you were bought into the company. And I don't want to say it was brainwashing, but damn, like I still remember stuff about how they created the products with the end user in mind, which was like, okay, this makes sense, right? And when we would have people after merchandising a store, we'd have parents come in and they'd want to buy like a certain pair of shoes. And I'd be like, don't buy those shoes for your kid. These were meant for a very specific purpose. Here's the reason why. And the parents wouldn't care. They'd still spend $200 on a pair of shoes. But it's like, okay, don't come back here in 3 months complaining that the shoes have torn up because you had your kid wearing them outside on the hard top when we were telling you they are only indoor shoes. So it's just a matter of knowing. It's a matter. I was very honest with people. I was just like,
I now need to consult you before so many purchases. Okay. Well, but the fact that you can still just rattle that off, actually, I mean, it speaks a lot to the culture of the brand and how, I mean, you cannot buy that. I mean, well, they probably paid a lot of money, you know what I mean? But like you like having the kind of culture where both your employees are totally bought in, and then you also have like the culture of raving fans who are deathly loyal, like will ride at dawn again for, oh, what up, JT? Oh my gosh.
Yes, that is why your son's shoes keep falling apart, because they were meant to be used indoor on an indoor court, not on hard top.
We're learning today on Social Surge. Anyway, but yeah, creating that kind of culture is so difficult, and people spend lots and lots of money trying to make it happen. And it's one of those things where it might be just like you either have the riz that you don't or you don't. But holding these in-person events and curating experiences that are representative of your values and your aesthetic and all this other kind of stuff, and create opportunities for, people to, own the brand themselves. I don't know, like there's so much capacity there. And I think we need it. We need to dive deeper into the shoe thing, but
sorry, I didn't mean to derail the conversation.
No, you're fine. I'm just,
but okay. So commercial real estate has already created this place where people can connect, and it's all over the place. You've got ICSC, CCIM, SIOR, NAOP, CRFC, Crew Network. We've got CREI Summit, ULI. There's so much stuff, and there's a difference between what happens, and I don't necessarily want to say corporate, but it is corporate. So you have your ICSCs, and then you have your more kind of grassroots, which would be your CREI Summit, Daniel Harold's meetups. I know Yona Weiss is also doing meetups when he's all around the United States, right? So the thing is that think about how much money is being poured into some of these events. We can't forget the real estate gala in New York City with Strip Mall Guy and Bob Knackel. So there's a lot of stuff that happens. And what's interesting is that you can take part in this and be a part of that community if you choose to. Now, how many people actually choose to and how many people choose not to, I don't know. But I know Fly, you'll be at ICSC in Vegas.
I will be in Vegas, and I have already gotten 3 or 4. I mean, maybe this is a normal thing, but 3 or 4 being like, oh, let's have a meeting. And I'm like, I applaud you that you think I know what I'm doing on those days, but I guess that's what I'm doing. Great. Yeah, I'm totally open. Pick a slot. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, it's
maybe
true.
We should set up a calendar for you. Maybe.
I have to get on top of it. But yeah, ICSC Vegas. And then also too, that programming has been expanded. They have a whole new prop tech conference that they're doing in conjunction with the traditional retail floor. They have a full day of women's programming that's happening, and so it's going to be the energy there this year is going to be new and different and good. But then also, yeah, it's huge. There's it's one of those things where if you don't have meetups scheduled before and you just are walking around, there's a lot of people, but it's tough.
And you might question too, because you'll see people like I'm sure there's the people that roll their eyes whenever somebody puts up an announcement, hey, I'm going to be here. But if you're trying to fill up your calendar to meet your target audience and market, where is the best place to do it? It's social media. The next best place is your email marketing, putting it out there. And then you should have some sort of events button, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. What the heck? We need to put events on there since we're going to be at events this year, on your website to let people know how they can connect with you if they want to schedule some time. Right. So it's all about making sure that you are maximizing that time, right? So I know some people that will be at booths at ICSC, so they just schedule everything at that booth. And then there's just the walk and talks, right? Beth Azer talks about some of the best places to have conversations and connections is in the hallways or grabbing a cab, right? Like you grab a cab and you're like, hey, I'm going. Who else is going? Come pop in with me, right? Get everything taken care of. And then you're starting to connect with these people that you might not have connected with before. Could you transact with them? Potentially. Could you not? Also potentially. But now you have a wider audience than what you had before. And don't forget, that's the whole point of going to these places is to find those connections to start transacting. CCIM has their spring conference coming up. It is April 19th through the 23rd in Philadelphia. They have their fall forum in Los Angeles. That's October 4th through the 8th. SIOR is happening in Palm Springs. That is coming up April 14th through the 17th. I will be there at SIOR. Nice. We do work for SIOR Foundation, so we'll be interviewing all the scholarship recipients as well as some of the trustees that are there. So we go there to work. I will be connecting with people. Let's Get Social. That is absolutely 100%. That is Linda Day Harrison's baby and project that she's had going on for years. And I'm sure if you were to ask her, she would love your sponsorship. So think about that. Let's Get Social happens usually the night before everything kicks off at ICSC.
Yeah, in Vegas. I don't know what that's what everyone's talking about. All the days switched around this year. So I'm not quite sure when it's going to happen, but it will. And again, not to go back to ICSC, but to go back to ICSC, the happy hours and the parties. Like, look, my life changed on the top of the Paris Hotel. No, we don't arrive at this day without me going to that party. So it's, stuff happens. A lot of stuff happens outside of the meetings, just when everyone's there in the mix, hanging out with each other.
And don't forget, so we talk about billboarding on social media too. Like you wouldn't go into a networking event and be like, hi, right? I mean, actually it'd be super funny if somebody did that. It would be super memorable. But I mean, you have to, and you can't just stand there either and expect people to come talk to you. You have to make those connections. And it's Heather. I almost croaked the very first night at CREI when McNeil and I got Rod Santomassimo in our Uber on the way to dinner.
I was like, well, and then also I just have to give a shout out to my friend Scott Savacool with Colliers, who was the very first. I was wandering around in the baggage claim in Atlanta and nobody knew who I was and I knew nobody. And Scott Savacool at CREI was the very first person. He was like, hi, I'm Scott Savacool. Welcome to commercial real estate, basically. And of course he's grown to be a very good friend and mentor. But again, like how was I supposed to know that? Anyway, serendipity max, people, serendipity maxing. All right, that's what we're doing.
Speaking of serendipity and Scott Savacool, he just wanted, he texted and he said, certainly no surprise, but congratulations to the dynamic duo for making the Women of Influence in CREI. Well deserved. I'm grateful for all you both do for our industry and you have done to help me in my career. So super sweet.
Super sweet. Okay, events. Okay, NAIOP, which I always feel like I'm saying the alphabet. I'm sorry, but it's just the
NAIOP.
NAIOP. Yeah, thanks.
Is it NAIOP or NAIOP?
I have no idea. I live in the internet. I don't say things out loud. Crew Network has, a big, actually, this is interesting. Crew in Miami Beach this year, their big event is the exact same dates as CREI.
Oh,
September 23rd to the 25th. So let's fight. I don't know. Okay. And then ULI. So, okay. There's a litany of events that you can attend. What I love as a trend that I am seeing with these events, I was just talking to Dana Muldrow, who is one of the marketing leaders at ICSC. They have over 89 events this year. And we're not just talking about the big, flagship events, all the different regional events. And the same thing, like CCIM, SIOR, Crew, ULI, like these big flagship events are, kind of like once in a lifetime experiences where you can, do, like on a national level, have a chance to talk to people that you never get to be with in person. And like those events are so critical, but all these organizations have local chapters. Thanks, JT. NAYOP. Cool. All of these events have local chapters, regional, smaller events that you can do. Can have a lot of the same experiences in a little bit more of people that you are going to, maybe are going to be your referral partners, or they're going to be, people in your community who are working on, projects together, whether it's transacting or just like all kinds of stuff. Right. So, so many things, especially if you are one of the members of our audience who is a newer broker in the industry, plugging in there into these organizations, and many of them, like, look, I know you have to be like some certain level of GCI or number of deals and all that kind of stuff for some of these. Yeah. But you don't have to wait to plug into the community. You can still go to a lot of the meetings. They have non-member rates for things like that. They want you. They want the new blood, baby. So just like, don't assume that you're not, that you don't belong there, right? That's one of the biggest assumptions that I see people making when they, look at some of these events, or, even think about, hosting their own event. I see like Gabe Einhorn has started, or in the past was starting to host his own meetups. And it's like, you don't need anybody's permission.
Right.
Like,
you can just do things.
Yeah. Or to go or whatever. Like literally the only reason that I exist in the internet is because I went to CREI and I made like a board game that for everyone to play. That's a different story, but it's just like, you can, like, the level of proximity that you can achieve online is the same level of proximity that you can achieve just by going to the events and putting your face in there. Like I saw I've seen crazy things happen in person. You got to do it. Okay.
Well, and then while you're there at the event, don't forget to capture it. Don't forget to document the whole thing. And I'm not talking about, you have to film every single moment, but if you are taking photos with people, you can then easily pull out CapCut and throw all those photos in there and make something interesting. We talked about it before that you should be posting on social media that you're going to the event, that you're setting up appointments. Sometimes it's just good just to say, hey, I'm going to be there, but people know that you're going to be there. So they've already booked time with you out in advance and your calendar is booked, which, I mean, what a great problem to have. Right. There's also, you want to put that in your email marketing. You want to put that on your website that you are going to be at an event if somebody wants to meet with you. And then, don't forget that you should have your business cards. You should have something that people remember you by. I know Mike Warner is Mike Warner out of Canada. Amazing marketer when it comes to having stuff and marketing. There's a couple of things that come to mind. He's done like a magnetic, like one of those magnetic thingies that like you can pick stuff off the ground with it. And he's
I don't know what it is, but I suddenly need one.
he's done a rub, like a dry rub that, yeah.
He's done like all kinds of, I was just thinking of even just like the simple things. The two, we got to get him on for a merch show. We got to, and Robin Hendricks, I need to re-up my Coldwell Banker commercial Band-Aids this year at Vegas because I just ran out. I gotta write a post about that. That little Band-Aid box, that's my ride or die, baby. Okay. No, but making sure you have stuff to share. And then
It can be personal too. Like I took pins. I have pins that I pass out. I don't have I usually take like a handful of them, but they're the little logo. It's the owl, and it's the pin.
I have it. It's just on the other side of my desk.
Right. And so, or last year at CREI Summit, which Robin, I still need to get you some. I handed out pitch slap stickers. You've been pitch slapped.
I'm gonna slap that on people's backs at ICSC this year. I'll just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm gonna do it. You think I'm not?
Okay, I have to get you the stickers then.
Thanks.
But yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. Like, you have something that makes it memorable, so that people can connect with you, and they can have that's that little reminder, right? And then last but not least, as you're on your way home from the event, this is actually something, again, that the incredible Miss Beth Azar talks about and does. She will actually take thank you notes. And so she starts writing her thank you notes on the plane home. And it's just that little touch, it's so, like, how many of us get mail? Like, whenever Fly sends me something, I'm like, oh, I got something in the mail from Fly.
Are you kidding me? Whenever y'all do. Does she write in red ink, by the way? Like, does she have I'm imagining she has a nice custom.
I don't know. I'll have to go back through her pictures to take a look.
Fountain pen. I don't know. I'm just thinking, it's like a collector's item to me. Okay. So write your thank you notes on the plane. Have a whole plan for how you're going to do that. And I got to write an article leading up to it that digs back into the cold call that I did with her before ICSC New York. However, we're coming up on time. In the group this week, we are going to be talking about how, in addition to your pre-networking and your post-networking, how you're actually going to take the IRL back into the URL. I'm really proud of that. Okay. And create some content out of it that you can use to extend the amount of time and money that you've invested in the event, and surface the insights and the connections and the experiences that you had IRL online.
That's correct. That is absolutely one of the most important things that you can do. And I think a lot of people fail to do the follow-up, surprisingly enough, when in commercial real estate, that's the most important thing for you to do is follow up. But you're not thinking about it from the perspective of like, oh, this is a client or a prospect. You're thinking about, oh, this is just a colleague. This is just somebody else who works in the industry. No, that follow-up is so important, because that follow-up could potentially lead to a transaction, and it's leading to that relationship building. Even if you don't transact with them, you might transact with somebody that they know. And there's a very interesting, I was talking to a client yesterday who has been, we've been posting on social media for them for a little over 2.5 months, and randomly got an email from a guy who said, hey, I know those buildings that you just shared on social, because he does leasing. And if they're interested in selling, like, my company is buying. And he initially thought the guy was like, you're full of it, right? Like this
Nigerian prince.
Yeah, like this is almost too good to be true. Ended up checking out the guy online, finding out that, he was actually telling the truth. They have a good conversation. He ends up calling the guy that they lease the property for, and connected them. And then through that, though, he ends up getting a connection with a CFO he's been trying to reach. So it's like,
you love to see it.
I just sat there and I was just like, oh, this is so good.
Also, you need to write that in your own cart. Cart yourself. Go cart yourself.
I do. I'm so bad at creating my own like carts.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not bad at it. You're actually very good at it. You just are prioritizing.
The follow through doesn't happen. The follow up doesn't happen.
No. We're not talking. Don't talk shit about my friend. All right. You made me curse on my own LinkedIn. All right, stop.
If this is a reminder for you to start to look at your own carts and go, okay, hey, how's this working? Challenge, action,
Cart
result, and
yourself on a shirt,
testimonial.
please.
Yes.
All right. What are we doing on Thursday?
Thursday. Very excited. We are going to have a special guest, Dr. Dre Campbell will be joining us, and we're going to be talking everything about Google professional profile. Used to be called Google My Business. I can't wait to have him on for him to share his story with you, because he makes dollars off of those reviews. So
are we gonna get a special Suno edition of the? We gotta get heck.
Yes.
We
what
need,
the heck? We have to do something.
We need the poster. I need all of it. I need the package, baby. All
we got to do it. Yeah, because Dr. Dre is the whitest Dr. Dre that you know. So, all right, everybody, have a great Tuesday. We'll see ya.
Together they'll keep you from harm.
Okay.
It's live. We're live.